Hello everyone, welcome. I'm Robert, and today I want to discuss these soloable games from Gen Con that caught my attention. I wasn't there this year, but there definitely were a lot of games that offered a one player option. If you see here from the preview page, you can filter it to games that offer a one player experience, and there's 243 titles. So there were quite a few, and I'm gonna list a few and discuss a few here that looked interesting to me. There are a couple of games that are not necessarily solvable that I'm gonna discuss. But with that, let's go ahead and get started. All right, first we have Dune Imperium Uprising. This definitely generated a lot of buzz and excitement. It's also been a bit polarizing. So this is a standalone expansion, and some people some people have some concerns about looking at it as a cash grab or whatever. As far as I'm concerned, if they want to make more Dune Imperium content, I'm all for it. I just love the Dune franchise in general, and I'm happy that the game is doing well. And I'm all for those standalone expansion. Kind of reminds me of Jaws of the Lion or Spirit Island, Horizons of Spirit Island. So that's all great. I'm definitely gonna get this. I have the two expansions for the original that I haven't even tried yet. I need to get to that. But Dune Imperium is on my top 10 solo board games, and I really need to get to including the two expansions that I got and tried them one at a time and both together. But I think definitely if they wanted to add more expansions to the original, I think it definitely would have bloated the game. So I think this, if they want to make more content for the game, this is one way to do it, definitely. And if they want to cross promote it with the movie and all of that, that's coming out. Super excited for that, by the way, for the movie. This is great. So yeah, Dune Imperium Uprising. More Dune Imperium content just injected directly into my veins. Don't care. I'll definitely get this eventually. So yeah, Dune Imperium Uprising. Next, we have Legendary Encounters The Matrix. So I happened to go to Gen Con for the first time last year, and this game was demoed there. I sadly lost my chance to demo it. It was already completely booked. So it looks like it was being demoed this year as well, and it seems like it's gonna come out really soon to retailers. I've seen some people get a hold of some copies already. And I have a bit of a spotty history with Legendary systems. So, if you've seen some of my previous videos, you might know that I'm not a fan of Legendary Marvel. However, I have tried Legendary Encounters Aliens, and I do think that that is a great game. I haven't dove deep into it yet. I still need to go through all the movies proper. All right. I only tried out the first couple missions, and I already saw immediately how much superior it was as a just as a solo experience two-handed. I enjoyed it immensely more, and I really like the Matrix. So this got me excited definitely when I learned about it. And the one concern I have, it seems to be reviewing well from the first few impressions that people are giving it. You can look into it yourself later if you want to read some of those impressions. I'll say from what I read in general, pretty positive, not amazing or anything, but pretty positive. I'll say though, that art though, the art is a bit inconsistent. What's wrong with your face? Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. Some of the art is inconsistent. A lot of the art looks really cool, but there were a couple choice freeze frames while looking at some of the playthroughs that really did it really didn't give me a good impression of some of the art. Because some of the illustrations look great, others I just showed you a couple there. So yeah, I don't know. I'll get it. I'll read more reviews and so it'll take I don't it'll take a lot of backlash against the game for me not to get a copy. I'm pretty sure I'll get a copy of this and try it myself. But yeah, that's Legendary Encounters The Matrix. Definitely gonna keep an eye out for this. Next, we have War of the Ring, the card game, Against the Shadow. So the War of the Ring card game conventionally is not soloable. However, from what it appears, this expansion provides a solo co-op experience for the game. And I have heard some interesting things about this game. In general, positive. So this will give me a chance to play it solo. I know that there were already a couple of fan variants for it. I haven't, I haven't seen the game on sale or anything. Maybe I would have tried it by now if I got a good deal on it, and I could have tried some of the fan variants. But I haven't got a hold of this game yet. But now that it has an official solo mode, we'll see. Maybe it'll entice me. The game apparently had some copies. So it wasn't being demoed per se. It just had some of the first copies being sold it had some of the copies being sold there at Gen Con. And they also announced yet another expansion. It's called, let's see, Fire and Swords. Fire and Swords. That's the other expansion that they announced for War of the Ring, the card game. I'll see what the reception is for War of the Rings, the card game, as people get a hold of their copies. And I'll definitely keep an eye on this and probably get it with the base game and see how the solo experience plays. Next, we have Star Wars Unlimited. Now, this is definitely not a soloable game. This is a two-player dueling game, a new trading card game, an upcoming new trading card game by Fantasy Flight Games with the Star Wars IP. And, as you know, I love Star Wars Destiny. I just love Star Wars in general. And it apparently got pretty good impressions from Gen Con. I encourage you to read them if you visit the game page. Lots of people have brought up already in a couple different threads that there's no solo mode. FFG, why don't you make a soloable co-op Star Wars card game already? What's wrong with you? Yada yada. So yeah, I do understand. It does kind of suck that they haven't done that already. They would just print money basically. Has been stated over and over, but this still looks neat. Maybe they'll do something like what they did with Keyforge when they developed the Adventures mode for that. One can only hope. So we'll see. I'll say though, I think coming from playing Destiny, this art style, it's interesting, but just those Star Wars Destiny paintings and illustrations are just sublime. I think it's gonna be a bit rough, coming from Destiny and then transition into this. Looks cool. I really just love those Destiny, those realistic Destiny, Star Wars Destiny paintings, and you'll notice if you've played several of their Fantasy Flight Star Wars war games that they reuse a lot of the art. That's fine by me because it's just really well made. I really would have not minded if they reused it. I'm sure that people would have criticized them for it. So it's like you're in a no-win situation. Do I reuse the art? Do I make new art for it? How many different ways can you paint Grand Moff Tarkin? Like they've painted Luke and Vader over and over, so it's just not cost effective at one point. This definitely has less detail, so a bit more cost effective to produce. It's kind of like a comic book style. So I get it, but we'll see where this game goes. We'll see what the reception of this is. Definitely keeping an eye on this. Hopefully there will be some kind of solo co-op mode at some point, but I would not hold my breath. That's Star Wars Unlimited. All right, next we have Call of Duty, the board game, a game that got its Kickstarter campaign launched very close to Gen Con and also had a demo there. So this is a two-player competitive game that didn't originally announce any kind of solo mode. But if you look at the threads, you'll see that there is a thread at the beginning. And I love this, by the way. Every time that a game that doesn't have a big profile game like this doesn't show a one-player solo mode, you can bet that within the first 10 threads or so, there's always going to be someone that posts a title just solo. That's it, just solo. No explanation, no nothing, just solo. I love it. It's awesome. So yeah, obviously people are like, "Where's the solo mode? Where's the solo mode?" I should make a compilation of like every board game that has a thread like that posted. I love it every time it happens. So yeah, so if you check that thread, you'll see that one of the Arcane Wonders folks, I think he's the marketing guy for Arcane Wonders, he says that he's set to talk to David Turksey about making a solo mode for the game. And since shortly after they added to the campaign, if you look at the campaign, um, they um, they added a solo co-op challenge. Okay, now I don't know yet if they have solidified the put it on paper 100% that David Turksey is going to be involved in that. Um, but if he does end up having to work on this, I wish him good luck because hot dang, like this game, I was looking at some gameplay and sheesh, this game just seems to have a lot going on for someone to be able to make any kind of elegant solo mode for it. It's gonna be a challenge, I'll tell you that. If and David Turksey, he's great at making solo mode, so of course they're gonna. He's a great pick for it. If he ends up doing it, good luck, definitely. Because I was looking at some gameplay of this, and like the hidden information, like the hidden movements, like how the hell is gonna make a solo mode for this? I don't know. He'll figure out some amazing solo mode for this, but I definitely, when looking at some of the gameplay for this, it definitely seemed like a pretty big challenge to make a decent solo mode for this. So we'll see where that goes. I don't have a whole lot of confidence right now in backing this. Just like I don't know if the solo mode will feel like an afterthought. This honestly, to be honest with you, this just doesn't seem to be the type of game that is supposed to have a solo mode. But I've seen some people come up with some impressive stuff in the past for games that are not meant to be solo. So we'll see what happens with this. I love Call of Duty, by the way. I should have mentioned that from the beginning. I've played Call of Duty since the first Call of Duty on PC. I've not played all of them. I skipped a few. There's a little tangent here about Call of Duty, a little rant. There's been a couple of Call of Duty titles lately that have sucked, so I've skipped it. I buy it every other year. I used to buy it every year. Now I buy it every other year, if at all. But I do enjoy it. I remember I used to listen to back in the day to IGN video game podcasts, and they used to refer to Call of Duty like a bro shooter. I love it. I love how it has that reputation of like the bro shooter. I don't know. It's like a guilty pleasure of mine. I love Call of Duty. I can just like play multiplayer while listening to podcasts or something. I love it. Like I love Call of Duty just for the multiplayer. I haven't played the campaigns in a while. We'll see where this goes. Maybe I'll wait for retail. I want to hear more about a bit more about the co-op. Like I can't justify backing this with the solo mode. Like we have little to no information about the solo mode, but it looks neat. I'll also mention this, some of the reception. So it had a demo at Gen Con. That's why I'm bringing it up in this list. And apparently the reception is pretty mixed. There are definitely some concerns being brought up about the fiddliness of the game. And it was it was a prototype, to be fair. So game probably still has a long way for it to improve. We'll see where it goes. I'll keep an eye out on this game. It'll be on my radar. As far as the solo goes, I hope it's not another cash grab. If you've seen my other videos, you might have seen my Skyrim review. Poorly done. I really hope that this is not another video game IP cash grab. I really hope this is a decent game, and even better, cherry on top, if it has a decent solo mode, I'll definitely get it. It's Call of Duty, the board game. All right, next we have Ascendancy. This is a 4X meets worker placement game, and it currently has an ongoing Kickstarter campaign as of the recording of this video. And it had a demo at Gen Con. And from the description, it says it's a labor of love in active development for the past 4 years, and it's inspired by classics from the likes of Heroes of Might and Magic 3, check. Civilization, check. Magic the Gathering, check. Game of Thrones, check. All right, so this sounds awesome. All right, and it looks awesome. And apparently from some of the, and it is soloable, so awesome. 1 to 4 players, and from the ground up, with solo thought of from the beginning. And it has that classic fantasy art, which I'm an absolute sucker for. I learned about this game from looking at the Gen Con list, and it just looks amazing, honestly. It seems from the demo, the couple demos that were shared, it seems to be having pretty good impressions. So this is definitely something that I'm gonna keep on my radar. I'm deliberating if I should back it or not. I have to. I just learned about this very recently, so I have to study the Kickstarter and see if it's something worthwhile for me to back now or just wait for retail. But I need to look at the stretch goals closely. But yeah, this looks really interesting. I just really love what this describes. It offers exploration, worker placement, the art. The art looks just spectacular. It looks like a nice crunchy experience. Ascendancy. Found out about this through the Gen Con list, and I'm definitely gonna keep an eye out on this. It looks really cool. All right, and finally we have a Feast of Hemlock. This is a investigator and campaign expansion cycle for Arkham Horror, the card game that was announced by Fantasy Flight Games. And to be honest, I do already have plenty of Arkham Horror content. I have done Witch and Edge of the Earth cycle, so I'm not anywhere near close to this being an expansion that I'm gonna be adding to my Arkham Horror material. And to be honest, I don't want to complicate what I already have too much. I kind of like Arkham Horror being a bit more contained. I don't want it to get a bit out of control. I already kind of have that issue with Marvel Champions. I do collect it kind of religiously just because of how much I like it. But I've sold off a bunch of my Lord of the Rings LCG expansions just because I have so many games already. I know that I'm probably not gonna get to experience all of that. I do have plenty of content for it still though. But yeah, I realized I sold a couple cycles because I just have so much, and I don't see myself adding more yet. I like standalone expansions. There's also tons of fan made material that I can download and print. But I like that the game is still being supported. I think it's a great game. I'm gonna comment on it a bit later. I'm in the middle of a campaign right now. I'll probably make a little video on it later. I do want to talk about it a bit more and probably comment on how I store the game, because that's this game also it's the aspect of storing the game, that's also a whole kind of game in of itself. But happy to see that the game has more content being made for it. I love that. It's such a deep and awesome game. So yeah, that's Feast of Hemlock, another cycle for Arkham Horror, the card game. What's not to love about that? And with that, I want to thank you for sticking with me for my postmortem of Gen Con 2023. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy this content, please like and subscribe. If you have any comments, questions, feedback, go ahead and put them in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next one.